Alrighty, hello everyone. Hope you guys are having a good evening. Welcome back here to the Megan Moves channel. We took a week off last week, but we are back for another Disney topic live stream tonight. So thank you so much for everybody who tuned in. Tonight we're going to be talking about booking a Disney trip or vacation using a travel agent. So if you tuned into our very first Disney live stream, we talked with the Main Street Explorers about how to plan a Disney trip or a Disney vacation. And tonight we're going to be elaborating on that a little bit, and we're going to be talking about how to use a travel agent when it comes to planning a trip to Disney. So I asked my friends from the Main Street Explorers to come on here again tonight. We just have Corey from the Main Street Explorers tonight, and he's going to help us talk about how to use a travel agent and everything that you guys need to know when it comes to using a travel agent. So thank you for being here, Corey. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks so much for tuning in and being willing to do this and share some info. I know a ton of people love the first video about how to plan a Disney vacation. So hopefully this, using a Disney travel agent will help out as well for some people. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks everyone in the chat. I see Two Broke Mice, you guys are here. Hey, Melinda, Surfer Girl. Hey, how's it going, guys? Let us know if you're in the chat here, and feel free at any point during the live stream, if you have any questions for Corey, feel free to put them in the chat and we will chit chat about them. And if you have some friends that are interested in a Disney trip and using a travel agent, be sure to share this video with them so that way they can hear what Corey has to say. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I've got some questions here for Corey like usual. Like I said, if you guys have any, feel free to put them in the chat and we'll get on going. So I know some people here probably know you, Corey, from the Main Street Explorers, but before we get on into it, do you want to give a little background into your channel and what you guys do over there? Oh, I might have lost Corey. So this happens sometimes, guys, for people who are on here. Corey has his power cord for his computer like right below his feet. So sometimes he bumps his power cord or his Wi-Fi and we lose him. So this has happened in previous live streams. So we're just going to go ahead and see. We're going to wait and see if Corey's able to get back here and stuff. So hope you guys are doing well tonight. We'll see if he is able to come back here. So, oh, Surfer Girl, yes, so glad we were able to meet up. Yes, we had a great time. I was able to meet up with the Main Street Explorers actually about a week or so ago. They had just gotten down to Disney for their Disney week-long vacation, their annual pass holders as well. So they asked me if they wanted to meet up, and we had a great time meeting up. We went to Magic Kingdom for an evening and had a good time kind of meeting each other in person. We had known each other since about March when all the quarantine and stuff started happening. We kind of tagged up together. I was in some of their live streams, and so we've been good friends ever since, and it was really good to meet them in person and kind of go around and do some vlogging together. I just posted a vlog that I recorded with them, and I know that they're working on a ton of their vlogs and footage that they were able to get in the parks while they were there. So it was really good to see them. Check out that video on my channel if you guys are interested in seeing what our meetup was like. But so we had a great time, and I know they had a really good time at Disney, and I was really happy that they could get back there. So we'll just see if Corey's able to come back on here. I can give a little bit of a background of the Main Street Explorers while we're waiting for Corey here. The Main Street Explorers, obviously, were really good friends. They do a ton of Disney content. They do Disney packing videos, how to save for a Disney trip, how to plan a Disney trip. Corey that I have on here right now, he is actually a travel agent himself, and he does a lot of bookings for people that are planning trips to Disney. And so really excited to see if we are able to get him back here. Really excited to hear a little bit from him and see what he does when it comes to being a Disney travel agent and learning a lot about what goes into that. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot him a quick message and just see how he's doing, if we're going to be able to get him back here. And if not, maybe we'll have to do a little bit of rescheduling. But thanks everyone for watching. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties here, but hopefully we'll be able to get him back. So, all right, we'll see if he's able to answer. Okay. All right. Well, in the meantime, we'll see if he's able to hop back on. But in the meantime, so that way I can keep you guys a little bit entertained, we'll share with you some details of what I've been working on behind the scenes. If you guys have been on here before, you know that I'm preparing for a craft show to sell some of my mouse ears. And I did a lot of prep with my sister today, cutting out a ton of templates for the ears. So we're going to have a ton of ear making coming up. I'm getting super serious about making these ears. And so let me show you a little bit of what I've been able to make today. Let me go grab it really quick. Okay. So we haven't heard from Corey yet, but I'll show you guys this. If we're not able to hear back from him, we might take a little quick break and then maybe see if we can regroup. But thanks to my sister Madison, she helped me a ton while I was working today, cut out a bunch of templates, like I said. So we've got a ton of cow print here. Oh, wait. I think we've got Corey coming back. We're going to put this on hold here. We're going to see if we're able to get Corey here. All right. So it looks... All right. Thank you, everyone, for bearing with us. Hey, Katrina, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties here. We lost Corey, but it looks like we're getting him back. So we are going to be able to continue on here. So I'm going to see if I can add Corey back. Hey, Corey.
That was not my fault. That was AT&T's fault.
AT&T's fault. Okay, what was it now? Did you hit the power? I was trying to explain to everybody that sometimes this tends to happen.
No, my internet decides to not work.
Gotcha. But it looks like we got you now. Are you on your phone then?
Yeah, I'm on my phone. I'm trying to set up my little tripod.
Gotcha. So thank you again, everyone who is tuned in here.
There we go.
Round of applause for Corey. We got him back. So thank you, everybody who is watching. We've got him, and it looks like we are good to go. So, Corey, I gave a little bit of a background to your guys' channel, talked about you guys a little bit. But while we have you here, let's hear a little bit about you being a travel agent and all. Could you just talk a little bit about what is a travel agent and how can they be used when planning a trip to go to Disney?
What is a travel agent? A travel agent is basically somebody who helps you plan your dream vacations.
Very nice. Well, there you go.
I mean, honestly, that's kind of a broad explanation, but yeah, I specialize mostly in Disney vacations and cruises to a little bit lesser extent, but I do book a lot of cruises also. But yeah, when it comes to booking a Disney trip, I have kind of got that little niche, and I've helped a lot of people who are first timers or haven't been for a while book and kind of navigate the waters of Disney.
Gotcha. No, which I think is really good because I know some people in the chat here too, Brooke Mice said they've never used a travel agent before, but sometimes if you're not familiar with Disney or you haven't been before, it can be a little bit overwhelming. Just kind of, if you don't know the parks, especially going to Disney World, since there's 4 different park options, it can be a little bit overwhelming trying to figure out where do I want to go, what all do I do, and so it can be a little bit overwhelming. And I have never really heard about a Disney travel agent or even just a travel agent in general whenever going to Disney. But I just kind of heard about it since I'd become a pass holder and just hearing about people going to the parks. But how did you get started how did you become a travel agent? And do you just specialize in Disney trips?
Well, first, how's my audio? Does it sound pretty good?
Good. Yep, we
Okay,
got
okay.
you.
Just one.
Everyone in the chat let us know how the audio is, but I got you good.
Okay. Uh, that was a loaded question you gave me. Which part you want me to go with first?
Let's talk about how you got into it and like
Okay.
how long have you been a travel agent?
Uh, about 2.5 years, give or take a little bit. Honestly, how I got into it was I was a fan of a YouTube channel, and the person who did the YouTube channel, they were a travel agent, and they would vlog their trips and everything. And they went up to Disney quite a bit because they got us, because you know how Disney is. They're constantly changing and
Hmm.
constantly opening and closing stuff. So they try to stay on top of it. So they go to Disney several times a year, and all, just so they can tell their guests, because they want to be there as soon as like Rise of the Resistance opens
Yeah.
or Runaway Railroad opens. And they don't live in Florida. I believe they live in Indiana or Illinois, somewhere like that.
Hmm.
So I was a fan of their YouTube channel for a while, and then we had went on a Disney trip. And when I was there, I met somebody who was a travel agent, and we kind of just talked, and I was like, I know more about Disney than this person.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to be rude, but it's the truth. And then when we got home, I did some research. I found a couple different companies, and I eventually got connected with the company I currently work for, Fan of the
Hmm.
Mouse. So for all your travel needs, please go over to fanofthemouse.com. Got to give the plug.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and I've been with them for about 2.5 years.
That's awesome. So, and it's kind of like a little side thing for you because I know you have your full-time job, but then do you just do this on the side then?
Well, yes. I mean, like most people, I have visions of
Mhm.
grandeur and visions of becoming a millionaire, and
Hey, yep.
but no, for at the moment, it is just a side business.
Mhm.
I I learned pretty quickly that family, friends, book them. It's
Yeah.
fairly easy,
Yep.
and just like any sales job, you have ups and downs. Like, you can ask probably any sales at all. COVID has pretty much killed the industry.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a ton of. I actually have a couple clients that are at Disney World. Well, they'll be at Disney World tomorrow, but there's not a lot of people booking. There's a lot of cancellations and delays and a lot of stuff you're having to do. So yeah, I prefer the certainty of having a weekly paycheck.
Yeah. Gotcha. No, for sure. That totally makes sense and stuff. And I think it's probably a fun thing to do on the side. And we'll get into later maybe some, personal stories or, how it is rewarding and everything and stuff. But we'll go to our second question here. And
Oh, that was only the first.
well, it was a two-parter kind of. Do you only it was how'd you get started and do
I'm messing
you
with you. I'm messing with you.
we got more questions here. But yeah, so and do you just specialize in Disney vacations?
No. You tell me where you want to go, and I'll book it for you. I will. If I've got to do some research to help you out with it, I will. I'll do whatever I have to do.
Yeah.
Disney, because I worked at Disney, and because we spend a lot of our vacation time going to Disney or on Disney cruises, etc. I specialize in Disney, but that isn't all I do. Like, I book all kinds of stuff.
Gotcha. No, that's great. So we'll get into a little bit more of what all goes into it whenever you so we'll start with this. If I say I've never been to Disney World before, and I know Two
Okay,
Broke Mice here said for if it's your first time going to Disney, you should use a travel agent because it is overwhelming. So let's
it
say
can be.
it's my first time going. How do I find a travel agent that can help me in planning my trip to Disney? Is it just something easy I can Google, or how does that work? Do I find a travel
Ooh.
agent that can help me?
Uh, Pretty much just like everything. Google. Also, ask around, because you might have a friend or family member that you trust that is either used a travel agent or is a travel agent.
Mm-hmm.
So I would start by just asking around with your friends and family, and then if that doesn't turn anything up for you, then I would go to, Google. I mean, just type it type in Disney travel agent companies, and you'll see
Gotcha.
pages upon pages of them in Google.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay, so that's great. So I either asked a friend or I Googled a Disney travel agent and I have one and I've come to you. So whenever I
Well,
find
I am
you,
awesome, so
and you're the best travel agent
of
to coordinate
course,
trips to Disney.
of
So
course.
now that I am connected with you, what all goes into planning my trip? Is it something that I tell you what I want to do, or walk me through what you would do if I were coming to you to have a trip planned?
Okay. Well, first off, the simple question: have you ever been to Disney before?
I'm gonna say no.
Okay. So then we'll have a little conversation. I'll kind of fill you out for, what do you want out of your vacation?
Hmm.
Are you somebody who just wants to go to Disney and ride every single ride and don't care about anything else but getting in as many rides as you can? Or are you wanting to go to Disney to see the shows, maybe do shopping because you've heard that Disney's got great shopping, or go to restaurants and enjoy fine dining? What aspects of Disney are you wanting to do? Or do you want a little bit of everything? So
Gotcha.
I kind of get a feel for your personality and how I can best serve you,
Okay.
because not everybody wants to do Disney the same way, same thing. Everybody likes different things.
Yeah.
Some people love Tower of Terror. Some people love, It's a Small World, and there's nothing wrong with either of them.
Hmm. No,
So
that's
that
great. So it kind of sounds like, you find your travel agent and obviously you're able to do maybe like a one-on-one like meeting or something. Like is it something that I could like just call you, or would we do like video chats or something like that kind of
well,
to figure out?
and that varies person to person. If they're local, if it's a friend or family, of course, and they live near me, I'll say, hey, you want me to stop by your house? We can knock all this out in an evening. If it's somebody, because I don't just book friends and family. If I book people who don't live near me and I can't just have a face to face, then, yes, there will be some phone calls, emails, Zoom chats, however they're comfortable communicating. And yeah, like I said, I'll just kind of talk to you a little bit, kind of fill you out, kind of see what you want to do, and then I usually kind of get an idea of that, and of course, how long they're going, how many people are going, if they have
Hmm.
children, what are the ages of the children, and then I'll be like, okay, I got what I need. Let me go and get some numbers for you, and I'll get back with you tomorrow or later that afternoon. Depends on what time I'm talking to you. And then I'll usually, based on the information I've gotten from them and the feelings I have, from talking to them and everything, I'll put a couple different like packages and everything together and kind of present them with the numbers, and
Okay.
kind of go over the pros and cons of each package and let them kind of pick which one they want to go with.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay, so that sounds good. So it sounds like you get options and you can kind of figure out, which one is best for you or your family personally, which I think
Well,
is
like,
great.
pre-COVID,
Yeah.
when you had fast passes and dining plans and everything else, I would have clients who were like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I just know I want to ride this ride a million times. I want to do
Hmm.
this, this, and this. It's like, well, do you know what kind of hotels do you normally like to stay at? I don't care. They're just the place I like to sleep. When I get clients like that, I'm not going to ask them, hey, do you want to stay at the Grand Floridian?
Hmm.
I'm not going to try to book them, the Contemporary or Bay Lake Towers or nothing.
Yeah.
If you do not care about your hotel room, I'm not even going to, unless they say something different later, I'm going to start with like maybe the All Stars, Pop Century, maybe
Hmm.
like Caribbean Beach or Riverside, somewhere
Yeah.
a moderate to the value, somewhere they can get a comfortable night's sleep,
Hmm.
and then of course I will present them with the different dining plans and kind of go over what's the differences and on what you get, what you don't get, and see, that way they can kind of cater it to, okay, we might want to eat one meal at a sit down restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we can just pay for that out of pocket and we'll just do the quick service plan
Yeah.
because it's not going to be worth us having a table service every night because we want to go.
Yeah.
Or you'll have the person's like, oh, I want the deluxe dining plan. I want a sit down meal 3 times a day because
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna shop, I'm gonna watch the fireworks, and I'm good.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, I think you definitely unpacked a lot in all of what you said, which I think is really good. And if we could go back for just one thing, we actually have 2 questions here in the chat, but one is you kind of touched on it a little bit, but what hotels do you recommend the most when coming to Walt Disney World? And I think that this kind of depends on who's going. If you're a family, like you said, like maybe choose a value resort if you're a family, or maybe if it's just you and your significant other, maybe choose, one of the more expensive like hotels or resorts. But did you have anything else to kind of touch on that?
Yeah, it's based on how many people. It's based on, do you have kids, the age of the kids? Because I've had clients who they want to stay at even though they're not vacation club members, they want to stay at like a vacation club resort because a lot of the vacation club resorts, you can get hotel rooms that are like you got a living room and then you got a bedroom because they want to have that separate bedroom. They can kind of lock the kids in and make them take a nap, and they can sit in the living room and watch TV or make them a sandwich or something while the kids take a nap.
Gotcha. No, for sure.
And then you got some that's like, just book. There's 10 of us. Just book us at one all-star room. We'll make it work.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's awesome. And then we had another question here. Wow, we've got a lot of questions coming in. Keep them coming in, guys. But all right, Katrina asked here, if we already live in Florida, do you recommend still using a travel agent for somebody's first time?
If you live in Florida, honestly, it's not, based on where you live. Using a travel agent is getting somebody to guide you through the system. Because you got to set up your My Disney experience. I'm talking normal pre-COVID or when things get back to normal. You got to set up your My Disney experience. You got to make your fast passes. You got to make your dining reservations. You got to, if you're flying in, you got to schedule the Magical Express. You got all these little things, and all of them are done at different times. Some things are 60 days out, some things are 90 days or 180 days out. If you use a travel agent, especially a good one, they're going to have you on your calendar. They're like, so-and-so, Megan's fast passes are coming up tomorrow. Do Megan's fast passes. And like for me, I can do fast passes at 6 a.m. my time. I will have a alarm set on my phone at 5:30 in the morning. Even if I don't have to get up that early, I'm setting an alarm for 5:30 in the morning so I can do your fast passes. I might go right back to sleep afterwards, but I'm going to make sure I'm up and ready to go to get you the best possible fast passes I can.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's great.
So yeah, when you're going to Disney, there's just a lot of little details that using a good travel agent will help you navigate.
Gotcha. No, that definitely, I totally agree with that. And we had another question here in the chat from Matthew and Lauren, which was actually on my list, so we can get into it now. Do you happen to book for the international parks? Which I was wondering too, if you can do all the parks, or is it just Disney World?
No, not just Disney World. Disneyland, I can do all the parks. Tokyo is a little bit more complicated because you can only book so many days at a time, and then you have to book another package and all that. Because I think you can only book like 3 days at a time. So if you're wanting to go there for a week, you actually have to make multiple reservations.
Gotcha.
But yeah, you can book the international too.
Wow.
Some of it's a little bit more complicated and different websites and all, but you figure it out. It's not that hard.
No, that's awesome. So It's sounding like using a Disney travel agent is, or a travel agent in general, is probably pretty beneficial, especially if not only if it's your first time going, but even if it's you're, going for your, annual or yearly trip to Disney. It sounds like it's pretty helpful. And you talked a little bit about the dining plans and, hotels and everything. So is it kind of something that I can just come to you and kind of give you what I want to do, and will you be able to like book everything for me, basically like plan out my trip and get everything
Pretty
coordinated? Or
much.
wow.
And like we usually make like an Excel spreadsheet of where you need to be when and email it to you or give it or hand it to you
Hmm.
if you're somebody I see on a normal basis. Most of the time I email it to you and that way you can pull it up or it's like, okay, today we going to Magic Kingdom. First thing, we got this, this, and this. Oh, and we're doing this for, just so they're organized and they ain't got to remember it. I know you can always go to my plans and everything,
Hmm.
but some people like, having like a little spreadsheet where they can see everything. So yeah, I even do that for my clients.
Gotcha. No, that's great. Okay, we've got a lot more questions coming in here.
Oh
So we've
no.
we've got one from Katrina. So she's saying down below here in the chat, she says, because Disneyland doesn't have magic bands, if you want to go to Disneyland, is it the same way of booking like Disney World, or is it totally different?
Yes and no.
Okay.
It's the same, but it's different. Uh, I don't know why they don't have magic bands yet. I really don't.
Which
It's
we're also at the beginning of this year, right? We're also not going to have really magic bands anymore, right?
No, they're just not going to give them away anymore.
Okay, gotcha.
Like right now, if you book your hotel, you get a free magic band.
Hmm.
I don't know this for 100%, so don't take this as the gospel or nothing. But my they're probably going to start charging you $5 or $10 for your
Hmm.
magic band. Like they're not going. They make too much money off selling them in the theme parks and everything. You know, you go to that store in Frontierland, the Trading Post, and there's like a whole wall of magic bands,
Yeah,
and they're constantly coming out with new ones and special. They're not getting away from the magic bands. They're just going to stop giving you magic bands, and that's also because you have like me and Laura. I think we're up to 15 or 20 different
hmm,
magic bands. Some we've bought. Most of them is because you book your hotel, you get a magic band. You get an annual pass, you get a magic band.
yeah,
It's
yep.
like I think I still have a magic band on my account I can send in for free. Like so, if they have that option, we'll probably like, okay, we have all the basic colors, and some of them we have doubles of.
Yeah,
We don't need another magic band.
yep.
So they're not getting away from it. I think they're just going to start upcharging you for
Doing.
them.
Gotcha.
Or if you absolutely just don't want to pay for one, they'll probably just give you a card again. But
Gotcha.
they're gonna keep them around in
Yeah,
some way, shape, or form.
gotcha. So it seems like it might be a little bit one booking for Disneyland, but probably the
Oh,
same
that was the
idea.
question. Disneyland. I'm sorry, I got off on something completely different.
You're good.
Uh, Disneyland, it's a little bit different because they don't have magic bands, which once again, don't know why. They've had them in
Mhm.
Disney World for a decade. And they don't have the dining plan.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it is a little bit different because you don't have that option. And plus, they have where you can pay for extra fast passes and stuff,
Oh,
and the
okay.
ability to like book them on your phone. Otherwise, you have to go to the rides itself and book. I don't know if you ever had to do that at Disney World, Megan, or not,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, but once upon a time, you actually had to go to the
I
ride
and you
and
and you got the
insert your yeah.
yep.
So you still have to do that at Disneyland unless you buy the I think it's Max Pass or something,
Gotcha.
and then you can if you buy that you get to book them on your phone and all. But yeah, but as far as the scheduling everything, I do the same thing with Disneyland or in Disney World.
Gotcha. Okay. No, that makes sense then. And we've got another question here from Two Broke Mice. I think we talked about this, or maybe we didn't even talk about this. It might have been backstage, but can you also do cruises?
Yeah, that I do cruises all the time.
And Disney cruises, any kind of cruises?
Uh, Pretty much all the major companies: Disney, Carnival, uh, Royal Caribbean, pretty much all the major ones.
Wow, awesome. Well, that's great. So that answers that question then. And we have a question here from Michelle. And this kind of goes into maybe a little bit more about, being a travel agent. But when not in COVID times, is being a travel agent lucrative? Is there a demand for it, or is it
Yes,
used a lot?
you would be surprised at the amount of people that use travel agents to this
Mhm.
day. Because honestly, it's like a lot of different sales jobs. You, car salesman, vacation salesman, it doesn't matter. If you get a client to book with you and you treat them right and you're honest with them, they're going to come back to you time and time again.
Yeah.
Like, I have people that are on their third and fourth bookings with me, even though they could do it by themselves now. They still come to me
Yeah.
because there might be that one or two things that I know that they don't know that can help them out. Like, I had to explain the whole boarding system to a client earlier today who is going to Disney and be at
Yep.
Hollywood later this week. So yeah, and as far as how lucrative it is, it's one of those jobs where it's based on how much work you want to put into it.
Gotcha.
If you want to just, do it as, a side gig
Hmm.
and you're just going to do it for your friends and family, then no, you're not going to make a ton of money.
Yep.
You're going to maybe pay for your vacation or something by the end of
Hmm.
the year. But if you advertise yourself, market yourself on social medias
Hmm.
and build yourself a website and,
Yeah.
really push yourself, then yeah, I know several people who it is their full-time job.
Yeah. And I think what you said there kind of answers her second follow-on question here, or do you have to keep another job? Like you said, I think it depends on, how much work you want to put into it. Once you get those either repeat customers or those name of, by word of mouth, I'm sure that, if you do it a lot, you could maybe make a full-time job out of it. But what do you think
You
about that?
can't. You can make a full time job out of it, but it's not going to be something you make a full time job out of it immediately.
Gotcha.
It's going to be something that you take time, you build up your clientele that constantly book with you. You kind of get a reputation
Hmm.
because like, it's okay, Megan, I book your trip and you think that I'm the most wonderful thing ever. Well, when you have a friend that's going to start talking about, well, maybe we should go to Disney, but
Hmm.
you should call Corey. He was great. He'll answer all your questions. Like, I get that all the time. So and so sent me, you know, you booked their trip last year. We're thinking about going. What can you tell me about this place? So,
Gotcha.
but it takes a little time to build your clientele.
Yeah.
Like most of the people I know who have make it full time have been doing it 5 to 10 years,
Hmm.
and they're able to make it full time because they got a clientele list that are constantly booking with them, and that helps them get new clients, and then they market themselves to get even more clients, and
Hmm.
they're so yeah, you can make it full time but I would keep a job to start at least to start
Hmm.
with until you start really booking on a regular basis.
Gotcha. Gotcha. No, that definitely makes sense for sure. So we've got another question here. So it's from Katrina again. She's asking, what is the hardest trip to plan as a travel agent? Is it Disney trips here in the States or Disney overseas?
Hardest trips to plan. Honestly, they're all about the same these days. Like, pretty much I can book any trip in a few minutes with the internet or making a phone call.
Mm-hmm.
It's as long as I got the information that I need from the client. Nothing is super hard. What makes it hard is certain clients make it harder than it needs to be. And I'm sure you'll be asking me about that at some point.
Yep.
So I'll just leave it there and we can move on.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. So all right. So here we are. We got another question here from Two Broke Mice. Thanks for all the questions, guys. Definitely keep them keep coming in and stuff. But She's asking, is there special training to become a Disney travel agent compared to booking other trips?
Uh, okay. Most company, it's basically like this. You
Mm-hmm.
have a variety of companies that you sign on with, like Disney, Carnival, uh, Universal, and when you sign on with that company, you do everything under their umbrella. Like when I get signed on with Disney, I can do their cruises, I can do Alani, I can do their beach resorts like Vero and Hilton Head. I can do all of it under their umbrella.
Okay.
Each company requires a certain training class. Most of it is online, and it's kind of like they just basically tell you about their different resorts or their different offerings and stuff, and kind of go over with you everything that they offer. And
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, there is special training that you take pretty much from every major company has some
Wow.
type of training you have to do.
Gotcha, gotcha. And this might be a dumb question, but is it something that you personally have to pay for, or does your travel agency cover it for you, or is there no cost?
Most of the companies are no cost. Like Disney, I'll use Disney as an example. The training classes are no cost.
Okay.
So, and the ones that do require you to pay for
Mm-hmm.
their training, it really depends on what travel company you sign on with. Some companies, I am aware that they make their agents pay like so much up front for all their
Mm.
training and everything. And I know like the company I'm with, they covered all the training costs. I just had to sign a 1-year contract.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, very nice. Very nice. And I think that just the question about training and everything kind of segues into a question that I had was, if anybody here in the chat or whatnot, or anybody in general is interested in becoming a travel agent, how can somebody do that? Do they go and find a travel agency, kind of like if you were going to find one to book a trip, or how does that work?
Well, okay. I've noticed since I've become a travel agent, I do see travel agent jobs with various companies pop up on like Career Builder, Indeed, Monster. Uh, so you can look at the job recruiting
Mhm.
websites. Also, usually at somewhere on all the travel agent company websites, there'll be something like become an agent,
Mm,
career, some kind of thing where you fill out your employment thing and send it in and then wait to hear back. So you can do a little bit of just Google searching and then a little bit of actually just going to all the websites and applying that you
hmm.
want to work for.
Okay, gotcha. No, that makes sense for sure. So kind of like signing up for a regular job or whatnot, or it
Yeah,
might be easy going
pretty
on their
much.
website. Gotcha.
Or if you know somebody who's a travel agent, then you can
Hmm.
ask them, hey, is your company hiring?
Okay, awesome. All
So,
right. Gotcha. So we've got a question here from Chris from Addie Family Adventures, kind of going back to what we talked about previously. Don't most agencies want you to have been to Disney at least once in the last year before they hire you? Is that true? Do you know? Or does it maybe depend on the agency?
well, okay. It depends on the agency and why they are hiring.
Mm,
Maybe you haven't done Disney ever, but maybe you've been on a million cruises by Carnival and Norwegian,
yeah.
and they want to hire you because you know the cruise industry really well. So I mean, so like for me, it was very easy because the I had been to Disney several times in the last year or so before I got hired. I had worked at Disney, and I pretty much blew the owner away with my Disney knowledge when he interviewed me. And
Hmm.
then on top of that, I threw in, about the stuff I knew about cruise industry and everything. And he's like,
Yeah.
okay, so yeah, I think we can get this done. Thank you, our guy. So
Yeah.
it really depends on the company you're going for and what they're hiring you for. Because
Gotcha.
like I said, they might be hiring you because you know a lot about cruises, or
Hmm.
you know a lot about Hawaii or Europe vacations. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be just Disney. I,
Gotcha.
I
Gotcha.
just I just happen to specialize in Disney.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And that makes sense. Yeah, that was another question I kind of had is, what does it take to be a travel agent, or what is some good things to know, or what would be good to kind of have under your belt before you become a travel agent. I think if you are a Disney or related to Disney travel, probably be good if you're familiar with the parks, or already booking
Yeah,
hotels.
it's familiar. It's good to be familiar with the process of
Hmm.
booking Disney. And no, okay, to go back a little bit to the last question, no, you don't have to be. I've never talked to anybody who's like, yeah, I didn't get a travel agent job because I haven't been to Disney in the last 12 months.
Gotcha.
But it is a plus to be, especially with Disney, to be familiar with all the new stuff that
Hmm.
they have
Hmm.
released or launched or whatever. That way,
Yeah.
when you're booking a client, you can, like the client that's going to Disney this week. For me, I went over the boarding pass system and they asked me what I thought of Star Wars. Is it worth it? And I was like, absolutely. Make sure you get to Hollywood about an hour early so you can get through that security line and queue to so you can get inside the park to get a boarding pass. I was able to help them because I'd been through the process.
Yeah, gotcha. No, and I think that, if you're wanting to do Rise of the Resistance, I think having a travel agent is just a benefit in, just altogether,
Yeah.
because that can be interesting. I know for me personally, it's interesting to figure out, and I've been on the ride, multiple times. So as a first time going to Disney,
Yeah.
that could be intimidating.
I got a question for you, Megan. I got one
Okay.
for you now.
All
Have
right.
you have you been to Hollywood, not gotten a boarding pass, and be like, I'm gone. That's all I wanted to do today.
I have not. I've always gotten a boarding pass, and I think it's
Okay.
because I'm just one person usually that's
Hmm.
going. I'm not like going with a group, but
Yeah, I
I've
have
never.
seen that it's easier for one or two people to get a boarding pass versus a because we had trouble on my last trip getting one, and you'll see if our lovely viewers watch our vlogs also. Hollywood is coming up very soon, and yeah, there was like 7 of us total, so it was hard for us to get a boarding pass.
Yep. Gotcha. Gotcha. No, yeah, I don't think if I love Rise of the Resistance, this is kind of off topic, but I don't think it would make, if I didn't get a boarding group, I don't think it would make me leave automatically. I'd still probably stay and, enjoy my day in the parks, but
See, especially when they bring the park hopping back, I don't think that, I'm not a big Hollywood fan in the first place.
yeah.
'Cause it just seems to be always so crowded. Even before Star Wars Land, it seemed to be the most crowded park.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
I think if I got there and I was like,
Yep.
okay, I'm going to Epcot.
Yep.
I mean,
No,
I'll
I
take the
agree.
Skyliner over to Epcot, leave my car here.
Head over there. Yeah, definitely. Well, that's great. Okay, so then let's get to, probably the biggest question that people maybe are interested in. How much does it cost to have to use a travel agent when planning a trip to Disney?
Nothing.
Nothing.
It's free.
Did you hear that, everyone? It is free.
As
This,
long as you book with a respectable company, it's not going to cost you a penny. You can book it or they can book your trip for the exact same price, no upcharge, no nothing.
wow.
Disney, I'll get behind the scenes a little bit. Disney gives the travel agent a percentage of what you would spend at Disney anyway for helping and handling your vacation because Disney's a smart company. They are fully aware that it can be intimidating when you're sitting down booking a Disney vacation,
Yeah.
especially if you're a first timer.
Yep.
And they are smart enough to know we'll throw a little bit of money to this travel agent for helping
Hmm.
them get them into the park. We'll get the money from them into the park because they'll buy merchandise and all that. And if he
Yep.
does his job or she does her job and they have a good time, then they're coming back and we'll get money from them then too.
Wow. Yep. Yeah.
So Disney's pretty smart about all that.
That
And
definitely
most,
is
yeah.
smart.
So yeah, as long as you're with a reputable company, it's not going to change how much you pay a single penny.
Wow. Hey, that's awesome then. So, I mean, for people watching and maybe thinking about, if they're planning a trip, should they use a travel agent? That might be a deal breaker, knowing that it's
Yeah.
free and somebody can help you out.
Sometimes they can even save you money
Yeah. Yep.
because like Disney's really big on adding deals last minute if they're not having their hotels booked to a certain percentage and
Hmm.
everything. I don't know how many times a week, 2 weeks before a vacation, I've called up a client and be like, hey, I can save you $500 right now by hitting enter. Do you want me to do it?
Wow. Yeah.
And I literally, even though I'm saving them money, I still make sure they want me to do it.
Yeah. No,
And
that's
I
great.
hit I hit enter or click submit, whatever, save them $500 back onto their credit card, and
Yeah.
they're happy as they can be because they just saved some more money and more ears and spirit jerseys they can buy, I guess.
Hey, yeah. That's great. But right into the merch fund, which is going straight to Disney. So they they make out either way.
Yeah,
That's great. No, and
yeah.
I know, like we talked about it on the very first live stream and everything, like you and Laura just know so much about Disney that I think it would be beneficial, just knowing all the ins and outs, like you just said, saving money on hotels or, kind of knowing some secret things or some stuff that, people might not know first time going to Disney, how to get around or, like we
Oh,
talked
that's a
about.
huge one.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
so many people have dining that they want to do at hotels and stuff. It's like, okay, we're going to be here in the morning time, but how do I get to there
Yep.
for our dinner reservation?
Yep, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, for sure. And we've got another question here from Two Broke Mice, kind of goes back to what we talked about before. But do you know how often your travel agency has seminars to keep their agents updated? Do you have to go through classes every once in a while?
Yes, every company has like refresher or updates pretty much every year to every 6 months or so. Depends on how much things are changing. Like with Disney, I think it's like every 2 to 3 months. It seems like there's another class I got to take from
Gotcha.
them. There's also travel agent conventions and seminars
Hmm.
that you can go to in person, and that's not mandatory because not everybody can travel at certain times and
Yeah.
everything. Like I know Carnival held one on the ship where they had everybody come on the ship, take a tour, have lunch or whatever,
Hmm.
listen to the sales pitch and everything. And
Yep.
I believe that was up in your neck of the woods, somewhere in New
Uh,
England.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, and then Disney usually does something similar down in Orlando or California.
Gotcha. Wow. All right. No, that's great. That's interesting. And we've got another question here from Melinda over at the Two Broke Mice. How many training trips a year do you need? Are you required to go on any?
No, you're not required to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with most companies. Now, I do know some companies that only hire people in the state of Florida, and they require their people to spend at least one day a week inside the Disney theme park or a theme park in Florida to stay
Mm-hmm.
up to date with everything.
Yeah.
And I know some that's like once you sign up, they don't care. So it really depends on the company and honestly on the agent themselves. Like we go to Disney a couple times a year,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes for vacation, sometimes because we really want to see or try this new thing.
Yeah, definitely. No, for sure. No, that's great. Um, and so Michelle here has a question, which is kind of transitioning into maybe some of your personal experience being a travel agent. But do you help clients that are stranded at an airport or have had flights canceled? How would you even handle this situation?
Knock on wood, I have not had that happen.
I'm just thinking in my mind, Michelle, if this has happened to you, I'm just thinking about how this situation would go down.
Uh, well, first off, I guess it depends on which leg of the trip they're on. Are they
Gotcha.
coming home from vacation and and their flight got canceled and they're
Hmm.
stranded at the airport? Are they going to their vacation and their flight got canceled? And then it would be, I would have to know, well, why did their flight get canceled? Because if, let's say, you're from Pennsylvania.
Mhm.
I'm sure at some point in time y'all have had a blizzard or something come through, and
Yes.
you ain't going nowhere.
Yep.
So
No.
so if you're stuck in an airport because it's a blizzard or a hurricane or something, there's not much I can do about that, and I wouldn't recommend getting a rental car and driving in that kind of weather if you're not used to it.
Hmm.
So, I really wouldn't know what to do on that one other than just be like, hang tight and maybe get a hotel room at the airport because
Yep.
most airports have hotel rooms. And
That's what I was thinking. Would you maybe be responsible for, or maybe could somebody have you book a hotel room for them at the
oh yeah,
airport?
I could book it for them and everything, no
Hmm.
problem. I doubt I would take responsibility for it because I can't
Hmm.
control, especially if it's weather related. I can't
Yeah.
control the weather.
Yep.
Now, if the airline just canceled their flight just because we ain't got enough people on this flight, so it's canceled.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I do not handle flights because of that reason.
Gotcha.
I do, like any client of mine that flies, I recommend that they book their own flight because everybody likes different airlines.
Yep.
Like me personally, I love Southwest,
Hmm.
but I have one or two clients who will not fly anything but Delta. Why? I
Gotcha.
don't know, because it's Delta. But but yeah, I will get them prices and everything for it, but
Hmm.
I actually usually have my clients book their own air
Gotcha.
travel
Gotcha.
because of that situation. I was informed about that when I was in my training process. The owner of the company is like, you might want to do this air travel this way because we've had issues with this, and this in the past.
Gotcha. No, that makes sense then. So I guess it kind of depends. Michelle was asking here, if that was another thing, that you hired the agent for or asked the agent for was, airline travel or whatnot. But maybe it just depends on the agent. You can choose whether you do or don't want to be in charge of doing that for the client.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. There have been some clients that I have booked the flight for. It's not really hard or anything. It's just it's recommended in the travel industry, at least with all the travel agents I know, to not book the flights because there are so many cancellations, delays, et cetera, et cetera. You don't want to be held responsible because somebody missed a half a day or a day of their vacation because
Mhm.
their flight got canceled or moved to the
Yeah.
next day because I know especially right now, like we actually had a flight at in the afternoon coming home and they canceled it and moved us on to the earlier flight that morning because there wasn't enough people for both flights.
Gotcha.
So I know that's happening a lot right now, and I know
Yep.
it does happen, especially with a lot of smaller airlines.
Hmm.
If they don't have enough people on the plane, they're not going to take off because it's not cost effective for them.
Gotcha. No, yeah, definitely. Especially these times, like you said, things are crazy with airline travel and stuff, and you don't want to be responsible for somebody missing some of their trip, but you'll definitely help out, as you
Oh
can and
yeah,
everything.
oh yeah, I'll help out any way I can.
Yeah, no, for sure. And we've got another question here from Katrina. It's a long one here, but long and short of it is if you say last minute you decide right away you want to go on a Disney trip, is it hard to book a last minute trip for someone, or how easy or difficult is that? Can you do that?
You could do it. I mean, you can do anything. Uh, it just might not be as cheap as it would have been if you had booked it a couple months in advance.
Yeah. Or you might not get the hotel you
Yeah,
want, or
you might not.
in normal times you might not get the fast passes you want, or,
Yeah,
reservations for dining, but
yeah, exactly. The closer you get to when you want to leave, the more flexible you got to be on your options.
mhm.
Because I've literally had people like, "Can you get me a price for a Disney trip next week?"
Yeah.
It's like we want to take a last minute trip for our anniversary, our birthday, whatever. Get us a price.
Mhm.
But we want to go as cheap as possible.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then when you pull it up, it's like, oh, all the values are booked. most, it's like the cheapest you can go is Coronado Tower for this price. And it's like, well, that's too much. We don't want to spend that much. Like, that's literally the cheapest it goes this week.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Like that's your option. But can you help book it like off property resorts and hotels
Yeah.
as well? Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that. I mean, there's certain companies I try to work with mostly. Like, I try to work with companies I know aren't going to be roach motels,
Mm.
because
Yeah.
I haven't seen every hotel in the country. So
Yep.
I try to stick with certain brands I've had a good experience with in the past. Like, I try to stay with like Hilton and their properties, Holiday Inn and their properties. And yeah, there's one or two others, but I try to stay with certain brands that I know the quality will be there.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah. No, definitely.
Because
We've got,
you don't want to
oh,
book the client in a hotel where there's police tape in the parking lot and roaches and bed bugs, because you're never seeing that client again.
yep. Yep. No, for sure.
They will blame you for that one, and yeah, you're never hearing from them again.
Yeah, you want this to be a memorable experience for them
In the
in
good
happy
way.
ways,
Yeah.
not negative ways. Yeah, definitely. So we've got two more questions here in the chat. We're going to be wrapping up in a little bit. So any other remaining questions you guys have, go ahead and throw them in there, and we'll ask Corey about them. But Two Broke Mice have another question. How early can someone book a Walt Disney World vacation? Do you know about that?
Yeah, as soon as they open up the dates. It's usually anywhere from 8 months to a year in advance.
Okay. There you go then. And this is an interesting question that Katrina asked. I actually was thinking about this as well myself. Do you help people who book through DVC, or is that specifically just DVC? Do they just deal with that?
I've never been asked to book. I can book to DVC properties for people who aren't DVC members,
Okay.
but I've never had. Are they asking, can I book a DVC member their trip, or can I book a DVC property?
I guess maybe can you address both of those questions? Because I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's say you're a DVC member. Can you help like Two
I've
Broke
never
Mice?
had one.
Can you help
I've
them?
never had one ask me to.
Okay.
Most DVC members know the system pretty well. It's not their
Mhm.
first or 10th trip to Disney.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever met a DVC member. It's like, yeah, we've never even been to Disney before and we bought DVC.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So most of them are pretty familiar with the process.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure if I had one, I could figure out what I need to do,
Yeah.
but I've just never had anyone ask me about it. And as far as booking the properties, yeah, you can book those the same way you book any other hotel.
Okay. No, that's great then. Yeah, that makes sense for sure. Okay. Two Broke Mice are asking again. Oh, wait. Let me see here. All right. Can you really be a part-time agent? Aren't you always on your phone? Are people always contacting you, or how does that work for you personally? Do you find that you're doing it a lot, or does it just depend?
Uh, Depends on obviously the time of year. There is actually like a booking season for travel agents. It's
Hmm.
usually like December and January. People booking their Christmas, not their Christmas, but their summer vacations and
Mhm.
everything. I guess after they see how much they spent at the holidays.
Gotcha.
But
It would probably depend on, how many
it
clients you have as well.
yeah, it depends on how many clients you have that are in the process of going, the time of year, because you're going to get more contact uh, in that December, January time where everybody's trying to book their and line up their uh, uh, I can't think of summer vacation.
Mm-hmm.
And like if you got a bunch of clients going, or a bunch of clients who are in the process of book, like maybe maybe you've asked them to come up with a couple of restaurant ideas or types of food they like. You might be getting a phone calls like, well, does Disney have any place I can get Asian food or Italian food?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and as far as do you get a lot of them? Yes and no. It just depends on how many clients you got, how many, what time of year it is.
Yep.
And honestly, for me, because I do have a normal job, I have a very professional voicemail,
Mm-hmm.
and so they just go to my voicemail, and then as soon as I get a chance, I call them back.
Yeah.
Because 90% of the time, it's not going to be something that has to be immediately done.
Yeah.
Like Disney's not going to have a sale that only lasts for an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
So most things, and so most time I can, if I got a couple voicemails on my phone, I can step out of my office, take them. If there's something that needs to be done right away, I can contact the client, send an
Mm-hmm.
email, do whatever I need to do, and then go back to, because my boss at my full-time job knows I'm a travel agent on the side.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't mind if I, because I get my job done.
Yep.
So they don't care if I step out of the office to take a phone call or something here and there.
Definitely, definitely. No, that's great and everything. Well, all of this info was super helpful, and I know for me personally, if I was trying to plan a trip my first time, I would definitely consider using a travel agent. But I'm sure there's a lot of people in the chat here that, are interested about it as well if they were thinking about planning a trip. So how can they find you, Corey, since you are the best travel agent? How can all of the people in the chat find you? Because this was such helpful information and people are really wanting to use travel agents now. How can we find you?
Okay. Well, let's see. You can email me at Main Street Explorer 1
Okay.
at gmail.com.
Gotcha.
You can go over to our YouTube channel, leave a comment in one of our videos. I can get back with you that way. You can go over to our Facebook group or Instagram and send me a message that way also.
Great. No, that's perfect. And I'll get all that information from you, Corey, and I'll link it in the description below so that way people can come and find you, because I know that it sounds pretty beneficial to use a travel agent when going to Disney. It sounds like, especially if you use someone who knows the ins and outs like you guys do, it can be pretty beneficial, and it could probably help you have a better experience than if you planned it on your own.
Yeah.
So, well, that's great. Well, thank you everyone for watching, and thank you, Corey, for all of the info. I know a lot of people here in the chat were saying that they really appreciated it and that it was helpful information. So I'm glad that everybody was able to hear from you.
I try.
Yeah. No, that's great. So thank you so much for tuning in. Everyone, thank you for tuning in, and thank you for bearing with us in our little technical difficulties earlier, but we were able to get Corey back. So
sorry about that.
No, it's all good. Don't worry about it.
My internet still isn't backed up.
Gotcha. Well, I'm glad we could get you on your phone at least.
Don't you just love AT&T?
Thankful for StreamYard that they can go on the phone.
Yeah.
So, well, great. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Thanks, Michelle. I saw you here. Two Broke Mice and Katrina. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time for our next Disney topic live stream. So thanks for tuning in, everyone, and we will talk to you guys later. See ya.